for this. This is a bit of a national derby here, Denmark versus Denmark. So far, so good for SK. Keeping Astralis on that big fat 0 for as long as possible will be very important indeed. Obviously, Astralis, one of the best teams in the world, going to be a heavy favourite coming into this matchup. So far, so good for SK, shutting down the the eco round here from Astralis.
Yeah, they're playing a little aggro there with those pistols. As expected, your chances in just playing straight up aren't very good. So you can see Karrigan going aggressive, running through the smoke, hoping that maybe they drop the smoke, because sometimes the team will drop a smoke. And, you know, sometimes some players will pretend it's a brick wall, like you can't walk through it. So maybe seeing if Karrigan was trying to see if someone had actually evacuated that spot after throwing the smoke, but they were holding it. So really disciplined and focused play coming in from SK to make sure that they win the rounds that they're supposed to win with as big edges as big of edges as they can possibly get, which is losing no players, keeping that money in your hands and not allowing stupid peaks or stupid engagements to, you know, lose you some money here, because you need all those edges against a team like Astralis. Now, we've got 2 orbs coming in from Astralis, so a new approach from them. Karrigan, and it's good to see that Karrigan did make it here. I'm very, very happy for Astralis for that fact, and he will be AWPing with Device, so we get to see the normal setups. That said, Zonic did play very well yesterday, so shout out to Zonic.
It's interesting that Device is actually sitting in the middle. Normally you have the in-game leader sitting in the middle, but perhaps Device is in the middle since he's the AWPer to look at his teammate screens to get an idea as to what's going on around the map. I don't know, we'll have to ask them later perhaps. So, fast play into the A-bomb site now. As SK, knowing Astralis are back on the buy, wanting to break it as soon as possible. First frag goes their way. Kiabi getting taken down by Modi here. People charging through the smoke, and Astralis are having to run away, having to abandon the site. Gonna go for the retake here, 4 versus 4 though. Modi's been taken down.
Yeah, the bomb will be planted though, just shy of the Molotov. And it all quiets down a little bit as these CTs start to position. But there's 3 in the back line here. It's a very interesting retake possibilities for them. It's always a very difficult site to go for the retake on, but there goes Magic trying to deny these CTs, and this is really annoying right now because they have to watch their back. You've got to watch so many positions on the retake in this situation. It's very hard, but Karrigan gets another pick there. Dupree and Karrigan peeking Magic's boy at once. It's just pipped out. Almost a second frag, but still it would have been difficult. Zipex was there, and the defuse will come in. Looks like those 3 members of Astralis pushing their way from the back line was indeed a strong way to approach this retake, and they put 1 on the board. That is the first round for Astralis. How many more can they string together? SK, who still have a strong buy.
So we have Freeze coming up. Jack in the Box will be taken down. Nice stuff there by Karrigan, and indeed they will go for the double AWPs now, Device and Karrigan. And it's great to see Karrigan on the AWP. He did nasty stuff in previous Face It leagues there. They won 2 of 3 in 1 year previously. Again, I think Astralis have the potential to be the best team in the world, and I think there's a fair chance they may end up being this year, but they have stiff competition. But first, they need to get back into this game. SK still with a strong lead, 5-1 over Astralis. Having a quick look at the money. There's a bit more for SK, but it's not ideal for either team by any means. So again, we saw in the train, the rounds of train we've seen so far this week, we normally see 1 CT over towards the B-bomb site earlier on in the round, and then a second will rotate a bit later on. Now you can see Device coming in. There are many positions to play when you have an AWPer supporting over towards B. He can quickly rotate in and out of connector, looking at the high ground, while the player who is deeper in this case Zipex, looks towards the slope area where the T's like to push. SK with a minute on the clock to play with here.
Yeah, and so far they've been denied any early picking opportunities. Again, you know, we've talked about this the last map that we had train. Astralis are just not giving them an opportunity to make any picks, even though they themselves have 2 AWPs and they might favor those kinds of engagements. They're not giving it to SK. They're going to force SK to go for a set piece into one of the 2 bomb sites, and they are going to choose the A site. So covering these channels with these smoke grenades to allow themselves to get close, to get to the bomb plot. But what is this? 3 frags. All of a sudden, just straight out of nowhere from Karrigan and Dupree, making the 4th and the 5th. Karrigan going absolutely ham in this round with the AWP. And the perspective there that we saw from SK was ridiculous. They all just got picked off and they didn't even see where the shots were coming from. Great stuff there from Astralis on the defense. They played it patient, they forced SK to make the play, and then they played into the hands of Astralis.
Again, we're seeing similar problems. We're seeing gaps, figuratively and literally, the same way we saw them, I think, on NRG's executes. They had a different kind of wall of smoke on train, but it's that same gap towards Ivy from main, where the CTs are exploiting it, getting massive frags come in. We had Astralis have like 3 frags in maybe 1 second in that particular round. Very strong hold from them. 3 rounds between these 2 teams now. SK back on the buy. You can see their money has reached its limits. Modi down to a deagle.
Absolutely. Now, it is going to be quite interesting to see how this round plays out, as you said, because of the kind of situation of SK's money. They really need this one indeed. And as the Device is playing with fire, that could be caught off guard by Freeze. He was holding the angle, I think, but in fact, actually, Device gets away, and there's not much damage really exchanged, but Device does get some information. So now what that means is Astralis feel comfortable to play 2 players here for the time being. And there's the pop flash there for Device's position. Really nicely done. I think Device thinks that he fell, but he didn't actually fall. He was blinded there, but he doesn't get actually picked as he was blind. So that is going to be a godsend there for Device to make it a safety. And a minute left now, and SK Gaming still need to make the move into the B site, and Astralis still have 2 players there.
Device has repositioned, still covering the upper area. Zipex trying to slow the push, had a good read on the push with the Molotov there, trying to use the angles now to try and get some frags, but it's not going to work out for him. Modi again with another opening frag. Device answering back though, Modi goes down. More players to find here, and Device will hold his angle. Piabi comes in for support, goes down. Freeze gets traded by Karrigan though, 3 versus 3. Bomb gets planted on default. We've got 2 Ts on the high ground now, and Magic's boy has a Molotov. You can bounce the Molotov off the door into Asilian's position to try and stop a plant from coming in. You can see him just making sure he's got it on the quick draw. He can press Q to bring it out pretty fast, and he may need to because Asilian's gone down on the site. Had no support. They sacked him. They said he can die there as long as we have this Molotov. The Molotov, will it come in time? There are 2 seconds left. He could go for the hero defuse, but Magic's boy will follow up with the gun. Down goes Device as well, and Karrigan has to go for the hero defuse himself, but it seems he may choose to save the AWP, so SK have done it. If the peak didn't come in there from Magic's boy, I think the hero defuse down in the flames may have come in, but it was not to be on this occasion.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's good that he made doubly sure and basically finish off the round with the next kill as well. So SK Gaming with a very, very timely victory. We mentioned how important that one was for them. Had they lost it, even with the bomb planted, their money would have been too low for a proper buy in the following round. So SK keeping their chances here to continue in dominant fashion, to continue controlling the pace here. But they need to get through 1 extra buy of Astralis before they can start forcing Astralis to bad buys. But SK are in a great position. They're doing a really nice job so far. 6-2 is a good scoreline if you're against Astralis on any map, in any situation. So let's see if they can weather the buy that Astralis have this time. It's been a while since we've seen Astralis take any risks, so we're going to see them take one now. They're going for the push on Ali, but Magic's boy takes the frag onto Dupree, and now it's going to be Freeze and Asilian trying to work this pop dog area, but they get smoked off, so they can't really do anything there for the time being.
You mentioned risks, Dan. Took a risk, was denied. Good thing that your advice is unlicensed. 5-3 now. Astralis could find themselves back on the eco if things continue to go in this direction. 4-round lead for SK. Looking good in the hood for the time being. Device going for the cheekiest of frags. Again, trying to take a risk to kind of balance the disadvantages they have at present. Didn't pay off, though. SK biding their time. 2-man lead. And a minute on the clock. They don't need to make any rash decisions.
No, there is definitely a lot of possibilities here. And Astralis are doing the typical thing, but they're just sitting everybody on A because, generally speaking, it's going to be harder to rotate into A. And they want to put themselves in a spot where, because they're already 2 men down, they want to sort of just play the gamble. If there is an A attack, they feel like maybe we can actually defend this if we hit our shots. If they go into B, they don't just have one guy sitting there who easily die. They can just give it up and save the 3 guns that they have in the A bomb site. That's likely what the player is going to be here from Astralis, and just allowing that B bomb site to go in SK Gaming's favor. And again, Astralis' money is not really in the best place ever, but if they save 3 weapons, they can actually force it up. It won't be the best force up in the world, but they can make that happen.
It's a long time to save, though.
It is indeed.
It's a long time to save.
And SK Gaming know what they're doing. SK Gaming should be on them straight away.
But SK Gaming don't have great money.
They just have to kill
go
one
for the hunt. But obviously, it's still favourable to them.
Yeah.
To take down.
Just one player, James. Just one.
Yeah.
That's all they need really to kill. It's a really big difference between killing or having 3 surviving and 2 surviving.
They are creeping, Dan. Do you know how they're creeping? They're creeping like Dan in a club, Dan. That is how they're creeping.
For a while, that reference was always went to Henry G, but now it's back to me again.
It is back to you, yeah.
Great.
It's got to rotate when appropriate, Dan, and now is appropriate.
Thanks for that.
Ooh, so we have a nice boost from Freeze.
Wow. That is impressive.
You've got to respect that.
I respect it.
That is a very respectable frag. So 7-2. Astralis with what they saved, but not much else, if anything. We have the P250, onto Carrigan and a P250 onto Dupree as well. So once again, we can expect some aggression here from Astralis. Are we going to see an Ivy push from them? We've got 3 players headed in that direction, but no, they're just going to post up there towards Ivy, towards main. Can have a look at Pop Dog from there as well. So they've put themselves in good positions. Carrigan looking to get a bit aggressive here. It's Device on the AWP, however. So we'll see. Carrigan maybe will be the bait to lure SK to the hook on the end of Device's gun. The business end, of course. Kjabi pop flashing himself in. Nicely done. Modi at the back. Going to get flashed, but I don't think Kjabi would have seen any information there. If he sees some plays over towards B, perhaps they rotate the AWP. Indeed, Device is rotating anyway. And again, SK biding their time at the moment, waiting for Astralis to overextend, trying to prey on the weakness, on the desperation of the CT side, but they can't leave themselves not enough time to actually push a site. We've seen problems with that already from other teams where they've kind of pushed on a 40-second or less mark, and there we go. Modi's being taken down now. They see the AWP towards B, but it's going to rotate back towards A as this wall of smoke comes in.
The wall of smokes to obscure the vision, and perhaps the intentions as well of the T side. We can see Freeze is just picking from this location, and Charlotte's starting to wonder what's going on. It's a bit of a delay here, but finally the push arrives through Ali, and the kills are made, but mostly in favor of Astralis as they hold on to this one. Device just needs to deal with Freeze now, and he's got Carrigan to help him there over the top of the train, really making it hard, dancing there with just his head visible. Very hard shots for Freeze to connect, but now Carrigan goes in close, but it's Zipex with the kill. 3 players surviving. Great result there for Astralis, putting their 3rd on the board. And SK not really finding the entry that they wanted.
Yeah, and again, that's one issue with playing slow in that situation. I mean, it's hard because it's trained. It's arguably more difficult than other maps. But when you see Device getting that frag over towards B, then maybe you want to try and capitalize on that and move in towards A and get the post-plant situations before he can post up towards A. He rotates all the way towards Ivy, picks off players here and there, and yeah, SK can't capitalize on their advantage. Now we see 2 ops on the CC side once again, so Astralis winning a crucial round here, and that's going to be very painful for the SK economy. SK back on the buy, however, back on the AWP of Freeze. Again, Dan, you talk about how prolific he was in previous iterations of the game. He will need to continue here if SK are to retain their lead.
Yeah, definitely hard to outclass Carrigan and Device. We'll see if he's up to the task here today. It's a slow approach as they look for something. Now there's a quick flash over the top as the peak goes in. So trying to perhaps push themselves into 4 position. You can see that flash and jump allowed Cillian to start creeping down that channel a little bit forward. You can see it on the right there from Carrigan's perspective with the X-ray on. Of course, Carrigan cannot see, I mean, these players cannot see each other through walls. At least I hope not, James. And we have Cillian making his way forward now as more smokes go down, but he's actually blocked off with the smoke, so Cillian's kind of, he's alone in this this point right now, in this forward position, and players are looking to him. But he's created space, he's created distraction here for his teammates to maybe get out in other locations. As the Cillian just roams this area, we have Modi now out in a trade situation. It is Pimp who picks up the kill onto Zipex. So Astralis actually being withered down to 2 players, but it's Device fighting back, dropping the bomber. There's 30 seconds to pick that up and plant it as Device holds the angle on the bomb, and the nades are still there to make Device's life difficult, and that will allow the bomb to be saved and now planted. Dupree's coming in from Team Main. If Device can just hold off for Dupree to get into position, Astralis can still win this round.
Dupree, I wonder if he heard Freeze scope. Maybe not, because he jumps around the corner, gives his position away for free. Perhaps trying to not to get headshot, but he got headshot regardless. So there we go, Device. That leaves him in a sticky situation now where he hasn't got a kit. He can't really even try to take the round here. He's just holding an aggressive angle to try and help himself save. He'll have the advantage. If the peak comes in here, indeed, Cillian gets taken down, and Device will pick up a kit, bit of bonus gear, and hopefully for him, he will hold on to his weapon. So a very strong half so far from SK, very strong indeed. Bit of a surprise perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. And but the thing is, you always have to respect SK. SK are that team that they might not win the major, for example, but they can ruin somebody's tournament. They can ruin anybody's tournament because they can have really strong performances.
But would you argue they're the 3rd Danish team on a Danish tier list with Dignitas 2nd?
I would say so, yeah. But that's the same thing with Dignitas. I can almost class them in the same way that I was just described SK. But Dignitas, I mean, we'll have.
Dan,
we'll
Kjabi's got 1 kill.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I was going to say previously, when Mo was talking about one other player performing with Device, actually, I haven't seen a single game yet in which Kirby hasn't performed.
I know.
And this will be the first time so far. And he's going to, talking of Kirby, he's going to get traded immediately outside, leaving things down here to Carrigan. He's got no direct support. He's got to do something magnificent here. There's the first kill. He gets taken down after that, so that's not really a good enough result. Zipex just gets pounded in the face there by Cillian's AK-47, and now it's 2 players left again for Astralis, and they've got to pull something magical out of their bag, James. But what is in the bag for them?
Dupree with the MP9. Oh, gets had an nade and he's just caught out of position. Device doing what he can. The bomb still needs to go down though. Oh, that was so close, but not to be. And Magic's boy will clean up, so it'll be him carrying the bag down. Maybe it has rabbits in it, who knows? That is the face of disappointment. But indeed, rounds were taken and SK continue with a 6-round lead. So tough times for Astralis. And yeah, I think my memory might be biased, but I can't remember a map where Kirby didn't overperform.
You say overperform. He is just a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they picked him up too. I mean, he was delivering star player performances in every match, despite what result was with Dignitas. He was just wrecking people, no matter how badly his team was losing. But we're into an eco round here for Astralis, and it is really worth noting how few rounds they have at the moment, because this really poises SK nicely into that second half. Even if the SK only get 10 rounds here, they're still in a really, really strong position to win the overall map. But that said, again, Astralis are a world-class team, and they can always turn it around on any half with their caliber that they have in the Astralis cab. So,
yeah, but perhaps it's too late for them to turn it around in this half with only 2 rounds remaining and only 3 rounds on the board. Not the start they wanted, especially with the performance with Zonic & Co. yesterday. This must be a bit unexpected. Bit of a shock to the system, perhaps.
Absolutely. There's a shot of Kirby there, who is indeed performing not as we would expect, but there is still a T-side to go through. And let's have a look and see if Astralis can do this with the rifles. Now, will they get aggressive? It is a hard map to do that. They have 3 players towards B here, so SK might actually end up meeting this aggression. I think the closest player is perhaps Modi, who is watching for this aggression at the moment, and Kirby's going for it. And he's going to quickly flick around, and it's Zipex who gets the trade kill. So that's kind of a problematic as a CT. Usually as a CT side, on the majority of maps, it's always going to be more favorable for the Ts to actually get a trade frag. So going down to a 4 versus 4, because now the CTs have to spread their defense more thinly, and the T side can concentrate their attack. So that's always a problem. And Astralis are responding to that problem by putting 3 players on the A site. Now, SK can realize that this is the normal response and just go for the attack onto B. The only problem that they have there is Device is going to spot this. He's in a position to spot it very quickly. And it does look like right now SK are setting up an attack into A, and Astralis are starting to wonder, James. They've moved Zipex from A to B, so there's only 2 players to defend against this.
And the split is coming in. That's a great start from Pimp. He is shooting people in the face. And now Dupree needs to hold things down here, but he can't do it. Pimp winning all the crucial duels. 35 seconds, the bomb gets planted. Does Zipex dare overextend? He goes for it, but he can only do so much. The trades come in. SK doing really great at trading in these situations. But again, I think Pimp might be going under the radar at the moment. He's 12 to 7, I say only, but he's getting really important frags, big opening frags into the A bomb site, and indeed the can opener is well and truly active, Dan.
Absolutely, and you can see the stats there for Kirby showing yesterday that in every round pretty much he was having impact with the amount of damage he was doing, but right now he's not really doing his best job ever. And we'll have to see if he can turn it around on the next half, because we have a very lackluster buy coming in from Astralis, forcing it up for the last round of the first half. As we look at Freeze just briefly looking for a pick now, the focus is shifting on a little bit onto the pressure, the presence that SK are providing in towards that B bomb site, where Astralis might start to reinforce. They have a player, as we can see, Kirby with that Mag 7, very close to the aggression of SK with that Mag 7. It's very good close range in these spots, but will he get peeked? Will there be a nade there to basically ruin him before a peek comes in? Might not even come into play, because SK are starting to move into this B bomb site.
So fast play here, but there are 3 CTs in position. You can see almost a crossfire here, but Zepex gets taken down with no answer from the CT's. Device is going for the money play, waiting for the flanks to come in from Cubby maybe, but he goes down. Bob not going to get planted. Device with 2K straight through the wall into the chest there. Freeze to take things down to a 2 versus 2, but the bomb is still in a precarious position. Trying to find some more players here. Magic's Boy spots one at the back, and Freeze will shoulder peek and spot Karrigan up close. We've got ladder play coming in, but the guns won't be accurate in that position. Now Freeze is gambling with the angle, but the Molotov's down, so Karrigan can't stand there just yet. And now the CTs are encroaching on the T position, flank coming in, and indeed it will work out. 12-3, that is a monstrous half from SK.
Yeah, that's really big damage, and that's going to be a massive confidence booster for SK. And they go into that next half with the ability to do anything. They have such a lead that they can be really risky. There's limited pressure initially as they get to try stuff out. They can play loose if they want to play loose. They can let that individual skill really, really work for themselves. So it's really Astralis who are put in the hot seat right now. This is a really important match. We expected Astralis to be the guys leading the group, but SK could turn it all around. We will see after the break.
Welcome back to the show. Time for the second half and a very surprising lead for SK at the moment. Astralis getting absolutely curb stomped by their national opponents here, one of the other rival teams in Denmark. Bit of a surprise so far there.
Yeah, but one thing to always mention is the domestic matchup, because that can always throw things off. It has its own little metagame. These teams know each other so very well, but SK, definitely the underdog, and you can see Magic's Boy, he's become quite prolific for his team. Some of the results he has been delivering on ELEAGUE, as we can see, is quite monstrous.
Yep, he's putting in work so far, and we'll see if it continues here in the second half. Obviously, the pistol round is going to be crucial here. If Astralis don't win this pistol, they're pretty much donezo, or at least they should be. Never over until it's over, but we'll see how they will fare. We saw 10 Kevlars earlier on. Now we're seeing Karrigan. He's going to have a smoke in play. Modi with a diffuse kit. 2 smokes actually on the CT side, so it seems they have some ideas ready for a retake. Pip's getting some early action towards B. Magic's Boy taking the high ground for his team. Cillian falling no for the CTs. Down goes Pimp as well.
There it is. We got the USPs being put to work here for Modi and Freeze, but honestly, the job at hand is rather large. Modi has the kit and a smoke, but he's got no teammates. And without any mates to play with, that makes his position rather difficult. There's the first 1 versus 1. He cannot stand the test of Zepex. It will be the round there for the Astralis side, and that is absolutely what they needed to get things going here with such a deficit as it is. But SK Gaming might feel, again, because they have such a huge lead right now, that they could get a force buy in there, they could do things otherwise that they might not normally do, just because they want to throw Astralis off, because they are only 4 rounds away, and they want to keep that pressure in, they want to keep the pressure up on Astralis. And well, it's like they will play it conservatively, after all is said and done. We've got a nade, Deagle or 2, and a 5-7 and a flashbang. So that's pretty much all SK are bringing into this round. Astralis don't really want to lose more than 1 or 2 players here.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good decision from SK. I mean, you know, if you saw the Envy of old in this situation, they might repeatedly force up and use their round advantage in that fashion. However, SK, it seems, will just go for the max buy as soon as possible and then take things from there. And once that comes in as well, if they continue to lose for some reason, then they will have a higher loss bonus, which means they'll have more frequent buys and better buys than if they went for the forced buy right now.
Yeah, there's two schools of thought in this camp. It's either you play some more low percentages, keep the pressure up, but you're more likely to lose. But there's always a chance, of course, because you have a big buffer, or you just play to get the most big buys that you possibly can, which is the safer way, and so you can be more confident that that's going to work. And that said, Magic's boy, oh, what is this? That is dirty stuff there with the Deagle. And James, Astralis did really not want to lose that many players in this round. That's going to hurt their money significantly. They needed clean rounds. This is not clean. This is pretty much the opposite.
Yeah, Magic's boy performing surgery on people without consent, Dan.
He's a back alley doctor, James. He's not licensed. It's messy. And his results are questionable. People are dying, James. Look at that grin.
He's pleased with that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll see you on YouTube.
That's smug.
I'll see you on
grin.
YouTube. Well, 7-round lead now for SK. We've got one more eco coming in before Astralis. Sorry, one more eco coming in from SK before they try to shut Astralis down permanently on train. The second map between these two teams will be Overpath, but first we will continue on trains. Trains on both maps, in fact.
There's trains everywhere, James. There's a lot of trains. I know it's on the RB.
Just in life in general?
When we saw the RB5 crew, I was wondering what even is in these trains. I have no idea. Either way, it's just one AK here saved by Magic's boy. He did drop the Deagle to a teammate, but so far it amounts to little. Modi will pick up a UMP, but no opportunity to really get any use of that. And Asilian himself not getting any luck with that Deagle so far. It's Magic's boy once again. This guy is just so annoying for Astralis right now, always just picking them to pieces. Even though the rest of his team has been pretty much decimated, he is still there to cause havoc with that AK-47, and he might just try to save that into the next round. He's got a kid as well, so I really like that plays. I think a lot of players and teams that would think, okay, we've got to buy next round, let's just go for as much damage as we possibly can here. But if they can save 2 AKs, that's not only a lot of money saved. For the AK, a lot of players prefer that. It's a one-shot kill, and Magic's boy is doing even more damage because they're going for the hunting kills here, and looks like they'll take him down, but nice little kill there from Asilian in defense. They're really committing to this, James. They're going for it. Carrigan is in there from Ali. There's the pop flash. Carrigan, can he get it done? Yes, he will. Asilian had no armor, I believe, so there it is. They will eliminate everyone in the end. Do you think it was worth it?
Absolutely, because, they were trying to save. I mean, worth it for who? For Astralis?
Yeah, I mean, I think SK had a buy next this round anyway, so...
They do, and the interesting thing is, Astralis, maybe they're taking the view that they can't afford to lose any more rounds. So Astralis have no money in the bank because they lost so many people hunting in that particular round. So if SK win one round, then they may win considerably more, but it's this round they need to win. If Astralis can chain some more rounds together, then who knows how many more buys they may have, even if they lose some rounds.
There's a lot of dodgeball on the train, James, I have noticed. It is not a fun game to play if you're the terrorist side, I've noticed as well.
So far, it's still early days here in this round. Got the initial nades coming in. Astralis denying vision of the IV area. One side by smoke, one side by fire. They're going to have more nades flying in. But I think Astralis are one of the teams on the CT side who managed to hold on to their nades for a bit longer than most other teams. And here we go. Despite all those nades, they're going to start charging through the IV position. Carrigan trying to find where the players are. He's got a player in for support. Dupree's gone down those to freeze. Now things are getting weird because SK could get pinched on the side, but they're finding all the frags. Bob's down as well. Still time on the clock here, and only one man advantage. Make that, it's back to 1 now. KRB alone versus 2. Maybe not the man they want to face, but they will prove successful. So that's the round SK needed to win, and Astralis' money has been wiped out very early in the second half.
That's problematic for Astralis because they surrounded SK Gaming. They had a triple-pronged attack. It looks so amazing positionally. They just had to hit the shots, and that's usually going to be the easier part for Astralis. And they didn't. SK themselves, they are having a really nice game when it comes to hitting their individual levels, and that seems to be more than enough in some of these spots, and that's going to leave Astralis a little bit little bit disappointed and frustrated, I would think, and because they've suffered so much losses in these rounds, like where Magic's Boy killed 3 players, there's no buy here for Astralis. There's nothing. They just go for
they
full
have no
save.
money. They have no money. I mean, there's a good opportunity that SK take this map in the next few rounds, and people will often say it's better to lose something like 16-6 than it is to lose 16-10, 16-12. You know, to have a longer struggle, a more cerebral struggle, waste some energy, have more disappointment, you know, that you got close, but you didn't take it over the line. But still, Astralis not after this yet, and they will not give up until one of these teams, well, until SK have reached round 16, should they reach that round.
And SK are going to be pretty disciplined in a spot like this. They realize the situation at this point because they've already killed 1 player, and they've seen that there's no helmets, there's no body armor or anything like that. So you're going to assume that the rest of the team is like playing in the same way, and Pimp's going to take some easy frags, and just as it should be. You know, SK playing it patiently, not really overextending. That's why this round is a little bit slow, because Astralis are just praying, just hoping that SK will make a mistake and overextend. So we did see actually that in one of the previous games. I think in a similar round, we saw for CLG actually, Tarek actually overextended on, I think it was on Catwalk on Dust 2, and that actually enabled like a series of frags from the team that was saving. You know, they almost won the round and got a bomb plant because there was a lot of chaos. So, you know, that kind of situation happening for SK. They play disciplined, and 14-6 now is the scoreline. So things are getting really close here for Astralis. They cannot afford to lose any other rounds. They are really low on the money. We've got an UMP, a lack of grenades. How on earth will they handle this one?
Yeah, maybe a fast round from Astralis based on the lack of utility. It's hard for them to go for the duels as well because of the limited guns, because of the lack of the AWP. And we have a timely push coming in from the CTs as well, but Astralis with 3 people, 3 over towards Ivy. This could cause problems. Modi is allowing Freeze to be the bait here, waiting for a push to come in. Freeze having to run away from the double nades though, but nobody's pushing through Ivy despite 3 people starting out there for Astralis. And Modi may hear the players move away, but Device maybe trying to bait, making some noise, but then going back, holding an angle. While his team rotate elsewhere, and the harassment will continue. Just as Modi peeks out here, UMP versus the AK will be an easy kill for Device.
Absolutely, and that's a great way to start this now. Just over a minute left, and Astralis have that advantage. They can start to make it go even better for themselves. Here comes the push. The defense has been weakened, it's been thinned out, but Pimp with the flank. Will this work out? Oh, it's like actually Kirby has the game sense. He turns around at a timely moment to take the kill, but Freeze is putting in problems now here for Astralis. Despite them getting the bomb down, he's got that AWP in a nice position, and there's no nades here to smoke him off. It's Astralis with 3 players. Dupree on 1 HP. Asilian, he's got to open things up here. He's got to create space for Freeze, and Freeze takes down Dupree. He reads the situation, and Asilian clutches it against Kirby, and Kirby really needed to deliver something there, but he could not. And SK take the 15th round, and they are 1 away from taking the first map against Astralis, no less, on Train.
Astralis looking a bit shell-shocked at the moment, and indeed the opportunities are running out for them in this map, which they haven't really ever been in. Been shut down from the start pretty much here from SK. 9-round lead now for the one of the other Danish sides, rather. And again, Astralis with even less nades, less utility. 2 Galils instead of AKs. Lacking helmets as well, which means that those M4s turn into AKs if they shoot Device, Karrigan or Kiabi in the head. So many problems here. And there we go, Kiabi takes one to the head, so that's going to be him 1 shot straight away. Traded though by Dupree.
Yeah, and Freeze is there by the bomb train with that AWP, looking for a good engagement. Not really clear who's going to win out the day here on the A yard. We've got 4 positions here for the Astralis side, but they are finding difficulty in finding the kills right now because we have a really defensive setup. SK Gaming are letting them plant so that they can attack a coordinated manner. They have players all over the place, in the back, in the front, in the sides, and they're taking all the frags, 1, 2, and 3. And that is everyone down for the count. SK Gaming are going to take map 1 against Astralis. What a rout here, 16-6. And that is going to lend them much confidence going into the next map. What a result.
Yeah, that was a monstrous performance there by SK, and again, Astralis never really got into the game there. That was just a complete shutdown by one of their national rivals, and again, Astralis will be frustrated, but there's another game to play here, so they need to take a short break and get their heads back into the game before we start on to Overpass. So that will be coming to your screens in just a few minutes, but first we will head to a break.